Today, refineries on fire, fueling fears of a wider war and soaring energy prices. Iran launching attacks on oil and gas sites around the Gulf. New videos showing smoke rising from refineries hit in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. Iran admitting it attacked the world's largest liquefied natural gas field in Qatar after Israel bombed its largest gas facility. President Trump today saying he spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I told him don't do that, and he won't do that. We didn't discuss. We do. We're independent. We get along great. It's coordinated, but on occasion he'll do something, and if I don't like it, and so we're not doing that.
Tonight, Netanyahu agreeing.
President Trump asked us to hold off on future attacks, and we're holding out.
And the Pentagon today asking for more money.
It takes money to kill bad guys.
The request to the White House, a stunning $200 billion.
And it's a small price to pay to make sure that we stay tippy-top.
The president meeting with the Japanese prime minister in the Oval Office today, asked by a Japanese reporter why the U.S. had not given allies a heads up about launching the initial strikes into Iran.
You don't want to signal too much. When we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right?
And now a major development today. A source telling ABC News a U.S. F-35 was forced to make an emergency landing last night after it was believed to come under Iranian fire. That would be a first in this war. The source adding the fighter jet made an emergency landing at a U.S. base in the region and that the pilot is in stable condition. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
And tonight, a U.S. F-35 jet making an emergency landing after suspected enemy fire, according to an official familiar with the incident. CENTCOM saying the aircraft landed safely and the pilot is in stable condition. All as Iran unleashing more attacks on its neighbors. Debris from interceptions igniting this oil installation, Saudi Arabia said. This shelter-in-place alarm on people's phones is suddenly much more frequent here, the ever-expanding impact of this war. The Saudi foreign minister condemning Iran's attacks.
What possible military purpose can you have for attacking a refinery in a non-combatant?
Can Saudi Arabia now ever envisage an Iran that is able to threaten it with missiles and drones and is able to determine the oil price by effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz?
What little trust there was before has completely been shattered.
All as the Pentagon saying it's decimating Iran's ability to attack, with Iranian missile and drone strikes down 90%.
They would shoot a lot more if they could, but they can't.
Here, let's pick it up right there. The Israeli prime minister is also making a major headline tonight with some comments about the timeline of this war.
Tom, Prime Minister Netanyahu saying Iran can no longer enrich uranium or manufacture ballistic missiles. Netanyahu saying the war will be over sooner than people think. Here in Saudi Arabia, Tom, the drones and missiles keep coming. Tom?
The Pentagon's asking Congress for another $200 billion.
It's a small price to pay to make sure that we stay tippy-top.
That funding request could face skepticism on Capitol Hill as the war's economic impacts ripple across the U.S.
Everything's just going up and up and up and up.
The average price of gas has climbed about 90 cents a gallon over the last few weeks.
I thought it would be worse, much worse, actually. I thought there was a chance it could be much worse. It's not bad, and it's going to be over with pretty soon.
Polls show most Republicans support the president's decision to attack Iran, but clearly some don't, as this voter in Pennsylvania told NBC's John Allen.
If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of shit.
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you are an idiot. Shalom. Call halal la Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Waha. Ruha Kodash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to our apostles, bishops, elders, and teachers, the men of great millstone. To you I say shalom. Salutations to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Amraya. And woe to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery, man. All right. And the same as the spirit that was on Nineveh that caused the Lord to destroy it because of its many witchcrafts and whoredoms. The same spirit dwells upon America, Babylon the Great in these last days. All right. And if you have any faith in America, Babylon the Great, spiritual Babylon, spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah, spiritual Nineveh, spiritual wickedness, then you will be destroyed. All right. Period, point blank, end of discussion. I found something very key about the destruction of Nineveh. All right. And its key connection to America, Babylon the Great, spiritual Nineveh. All right. This is Nahum 3 and 4. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that sell nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts. Right. Now, America has went the same spiritual path as Nineveh. It has been the pinnacle of spreading whoredoms throughout the earth. All right. Witchcrafts. All right. And enchantments. All of these things that it was founded upon. All right. Selling families through its witchcrafts. All right. But the Lord is against it the same way it was against Nineveh. Continuing on. Verse 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover your skirts upon your face, and I will show the nations your nakedness and the kingdoms your shame. Right. And this is already happening, people. All right. As this war escalates, America has been exposed as big bully on the block. All right. It's clear to see America is being controlled. All right. Its foreign policies, this whole war. Right. And it's an embarrassment. All right. It's a shame after it shows itself to be the big bad bully on the block. It doesn't respond very well to being punched in the mouth now, does it? All right. And this is going to describe some things here, all right, that are very closely related to what we're about to see and what we are currently seeing, all right. You can take it as a joke if you want. Prophecy is real, all right. Continue reading, verse 6. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock, right, all right. And that's what's occurring. All right. America, Babylon the Great is a laughing stock. Everyone's laughing at her right now. All right. Because they had no defense against what it instigated. All right. We're running out of money. We're in heavy debts, pledges. All right. And this war is going to be the most expensive war that has ever been fought ever. All right. Now, granted, we are still waiting on the MOT to the B, which is a micro C-HIP to be implemented, to be made mandatory. But you can you can see things are in full swing right now. All right. And it's a matter of time, a couple months maybe before they implement it, man. Maybe a year. All right. But they're going to implement the mark. And as soon as they do, game over. All right. Verse 7. And it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee and say, Nineveh, or spiritual Nineveh, is laid waste. Who will bemoan her? When shall I seek comforters for thee? Right? No one's going to care, man. All right? They're going to be too busy trying to save their own hides out here in these last days. All right? But the Lord knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what America, Babylon the Great is. And only you blinders that believe in this bloody city don't know what it is. All right? But this truth will set you free. This is Nahum 3 and 11 is where I'm jumping to. It says, thou shalt also shall be drunken, thou shalt be hid, thou also shalt seek strength because of the enemy. So once America performed this act against Iran and they closed the Straits of Hormuz, you had them looking to gain approval from certain allies and, allegiances, and everyone rejected them. All right. Now, because of the strength of Iran, all right, America has to seek strength, but there shall be none because America, Babylon the Great, and the state of Israel today are going to be isolated by the Lord. They are said to be destroyed. All right. And this is the message that will go throughout all the earth. All right. Verse 12. All your strongholds shall be like fig trees with the first striped figs, if they be shaken, and they shall even fall into the mouth of the eater. Right. Behold, your people in the midst of you are women. The gates of your land shall be set wide open onto the enemies. Huh? All your strongholds are going to be destroyed, shaken like fig trees, all right, which is symbolic of missiles being dropped on them or fire being dropped on them, all right? Your people in the midst of you are going to be like women, and you already see this. They don't want to go to war. They don't want to go to war and die for Israel, all right? But guess what? Your land, the gates are going to be set wide open onto your enemies, man. The fire shall devour your bars. Draw thee waters for the siege. Fortify your strongholds. Go into clay. As we already know, clay is a badyat in the Hebrew, and it means heavy pledges or weights or debts, heavy debts, all right? And tread the mortar, make strong the brickland. Prepare for war. There shall the fire devour you, the sword shall cut you off. It shall eat you up like the cankerworm. Right. All right. The Lord is about to destroy America, Babylon the Great. And as you see these issues escalating, don't take them lightly. It's like a timetable to the end of you being able to repent or beg for salvation from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, if you are in fact an Israelite. All right. And I've done many videos on that. If you want to know about it, go ahead and go check out some of my videos on my page. Verse 19 is the last verse I'll use in this one. All right, so verse 18, it says, Thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria. Thy nobles shall dwell in the dust. Thy people is scattered upon the mountains, and no man gathereth them. There is no healing of thy bruise. Thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap the hands over thee, for upon whom have not thy wickedness passed continually, right? You just immersed yourself in wickedness, all right? And that's America, Babylon the Great. It's all is spread throughout the earth. It breaks all the laws, statutes, and commandments dealing with the Holy Scriptures. It steals identities, all right? And it oppresses the true and living children of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. The Lord is going to wipe it off of the map. And this pertains to your salvation because, again, this is like a timetable being drawn down right in front of you, okay? I'll end out here in Zephaniah, and I'll begin in verse 14. Verse 14, the great day of Yahweh is near. It is near and hasteneth greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yahweh, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly, right? Because they're in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat in the so-called Middle East, where they are being gathered right now as we speak. This is the Lord calling them. That man of war is going to be distressed there greatly, all right? That's where he's going to find misery and anguish. He is going to cry there bitterly at what the Lord does to him, because Yahweh is a man of war. Verse 15, that day is a great day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities, right? Because it's all going to be burned down, and against the high towers. And I would bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like the blind men, because they have sinned against Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as the dust, and their flesh as the dung, right? And though they go into heavy debt, all right, asking for $200 billion, right? And they're going to continue to keep asking for money. As I may have said it, I don't know if I have. This is going to be the most expensive war that has ever been fought, all right, by these governments. Period, point blank, end of discussion. Verse 18, and this is where we'll end. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath. Did you hear that? It doesn't matter how much money you throw at this problem. All right? But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Stay prayed up, stay repentant. Shalom.